Hello and welcome to the first of our series of ropes and knots and their practical uses. My name is Neil Marsh, and in the many years I've been privileged to be part of Junior Forest Wardens, I've come to appreciate the great value of practical skills, and there's many of them, and other videos will touch on fire lighting, shelter building, all kinds of survival skills. We're going to talk about ropes. Whether we are part of a fire and rescue organization like this, or if we're into mountain climbing and outdoor adventures, or if we just like to go camping, or if we're into making strange and beautiful things by hand, a knowledge of ropes and their uses is invaluable. It makes us more capable of tackling whatever comes our way. And it's also a lot of fun, and I'd encourage everyone to gain at least a good grasp of some basic knots, but you can take it as far as you want. There's 1,000,001 uses for ropes, knots, cordage, and many things you can do with them. Maybe you'll be a sailor on the Blue Nose, or maybe you'll become a primitive skills enthusiast and make your own rope. But it all begins with some basic knowledge. So that's what we're about. So in this video, we're going to start with what is rope and what are some different types of it. Ropes can be categorized in a number of different ways. They can be synthetic materials, and there's a lot of different ones, or they can be natural materials. So natural fibers include hemp, which is this one, manila, cotton, and a wide variety of other natural fibers. Just about anything that you can find in nature that you can pull a fiber off of and twist it and tie a knot in it without breaking is suitable for making some kind of rope or cordage. Stinging nettles, willow bark, different grasses, all kinds of things can be used. Whereas synthetic materials like nylon, polypropylene, Kevlar, you name it, there's many different ones. They have some advantages. Strength, sometimes they're actually cheaper, sometimes they're more expensive, and durability. So depending on what the use you're putting it for, and whether or not you're making your own rope, natural fiber or synthetic. Another way to categorize rope is by the way they're put together. The traditional rope is twisted like this. As you can see, this is twisted, or in other words laid. The typically 3 strands are twisted, and as they twist and are put under tension, they lock themselves together, and that forms your typical rope with a twist in it. The other common way of making rope is by braiding. And this rope, this is an example. I don't know if you can see very well in the close-up, but you can see it's just like almost like weaving. The strands are plated, just like braiding hair, but with a lot more strands. And then there's more technical types of rope. There's the kern mantle that are typically used for sport climbing and rescue work, that are made in different ways. I've got a board here that has a variety of different ropes. We can see if we can get those close up in there. So this is a twisted rope made out of cotton. It's very soft. It's nice for things like horse tack. If you have horses, you might have a set of hobbles perhaps made out of cotton. It's very soft, it's strong, but it won't hurt the horse's ankles. Here's a rope you can make yourself. This is just made out of sisal binder twine. It's very hard, quite strong, and fun to make. Here's that same rope I had in my hand a minute ago. This is hemp. It's a common, commercially available natural fiber. So now into the synthetics. Here's a polypropylene rope. This is the most common thing you'll see, the typical gnarly plastic rope that has some strength, very slippery, nasty to tie a knot in. If it's out in the sun, it gets all prickly and bristly, but it's cheap. This is another variety, polypropylene. It's just black instead of yellow. Nylon rope's very nice. It's nicer to use, it's softer, easier to tie a knot in, and a little more expensive, but if you need a decent rope, it's a good choice. And again, these 3 ropes are twisted, but all of these materials can be made up into braided ropes too, which this one is too. This is just another polypropylene rope, but it's twisted instead of, it's braided instead of twisted. There's different types of braiding. Some are a bit more complex pattern. This is called a derby rope. And leaders, if you're going to get rope for teaching knots, I'd suggest this. It's very nice to use. It's not that expensive, and it's just a nice rope to handle. This one, not sure you can see, this is a double braid. It's got a braided core. Trying to make sure I'm staying in the camera lens here. It's got a braided core, and then it's got a braided jacket around it, so it's got its purposes. Makes for a fairly strong rope. And here's another braided nylon rope, another double braid. It's got a core and a braided sheath over top of it. And then this is an old chunk of what's called kern mantle. It's got some what they might be Kevlar, they might be some kind of aramid fiber, but they're a bundle of fibers that are just straight. They're not woven or braided or twisted. They're just straight, and then they've got a braided jacket around them. This is the type of rope you'd find yourself hanging off of if you're doing some rappelling or mountain climbing or rope rescue work. And finally, once you've mastered rope and some useful knots, maybe you add some hardware and be able to do all kinds of useful things. Maybe you have some anchor plates and carabiners and pulleys and other bits and pieces with which you can do all kinds of amazing things. So that's the end of the first video. So please tune in for the next ones, all about ropes and knots.